Hello everyone, my name is Monique Montanez and my presentation is about the history of art in Mexico from the years 1300 to 1800. I also will be discussing the importance of the artwork and what was influenced as the years progressed over time. First, we are going to start off with the map of ancient Mexico, and the region we are going to be talking about is the Gulf Coast and the Central Valleys, where the Aztecs were the most powerful empire from 1423 and 1440. The Aztecs believed that the days of creation, that the gods sacrificed themselves in order to keep the universe from falling or going to extinction. In order to please the gods, the Aztecs practiced self-sacrifice as well as human sacrifices. They also believed that the human sacrifices also will lengthen the life of the sun, which was a great deal to the Aztecs. The artwork of the Aztecs was mostly a 3D sculpture that represented gods with this abstract imagery and more of a naturalistic look to it. They depicted the beauty of animals and human form in their work. The material that they used to depict the gods was stone or volcano rock, which was a local material in the area. The Aztec carvers used simple stone, hardwood tools, fiber cords, water, and even sand to use to depict the imagery of the god. Here is a statue of Coyuque, the mother of the Aztec gods, which is one of the most inspiring pieces of the Aztec artwork. This statue is the goddess that has two snake heads, clawed feet and hands, a necklace that has dismembered hands, human heart, and with a skull pendant. This goddess is also wearing a skirt of withering snakes, which also is a symbol of life. This statue is an example of one of the gods that they used to worship to and perform human sacrifices in front of. Another way they worship the gods is that they carve the gods' heads out of stone as well. These were mostly put in the family home setting rather than having them in the public and in a big celebration in that way. This was more of a personal way they could worship a god. For example, we have the head of the water deity Challecreu, which was made at the end of the 15th century, the beginning of the 16th century. And here on the right is the moon goddess Koyozaki, which believed to chase the skies each morning by the sun god. Continuing on to the conquest art that was being represented during the time of the Hernandez Cortez and the Spaniards sailed into the Gulf Coast. The Spaniards started to depict battle scenes of the Aztec warriors and the Spaniards warriors fighting against each other. For example, here on the left side is Cortez's soldiers ashore on a boat where they're about to battle the Aztec warriors. And another scene on the right-hand side is an image of the Spaniards and the Aztecs fighting as a temple burns. The Spaniards' objective is to human sacrifice, but often killed prisoners. Eventually, the whole Aztec Empire got wiped out by the Spaniards, and the Spaniards started to develop a new world called the New Spain. As the Spaniards continued to come into the New World, they brought religious beliefs like Catholicism and Christianity. They also brought more food imports such as wheat, grapes, olive, sugarcane, horses, cows, pigs, sheep, and even goats. And diseases was brought over such as smallpox. Despite the diseases that were brought over, the artwork started to be more influential, some in the religious aspects and some forms of leaders, such as here on the left side is Hernandez Cortez standing modest in his battle suit. And also here on the right-hand side is the banner of Cortez, which was believed to be on the boat when it sailed overseas to the new land. Oil paintings started to become more popular in the New Spain. Here is a map which to believe map of Mexico City, which was formed at the time of the conquest. This map is not accurately dated, but it is dated to the 16th century. New Spain sculptures started to become more popular. Some of them were imported from Europe, and some of them were made actually for certain churches in Mexico City. For example, here on the left side, we have the European sculpture in New Spain that is a life-size statue of Don Pedro Rosabreeze, which he was a huge influence in the settlement of New Spain. And we also have on the right side a wood carving of an Indian chirp of the feathered headdress, which is guarding the niche of the church. Another important figure in Mexico artwork was the Virgin of Guadalupe. There are multiple different stories of how Juan Diego seen or heard the Virgin of Guadalupe. Here, for example, on the left-hand side is Juan Diego walking up a side of a mountain hill, and once he heard and seen the Virgin Guadalupe, he flees in fright because he never seen her before. And on the right side, we have a picture of Juan Diego kneeling, talking, and it looks like even praying to the Virgin of Guadalupe. And it looks like she's also speaking back to him, which is also causing the roses on the side of the rocky hillside to grow. These images are depicted inside the Church of San Francisco Javier. It is a fresco style, and it was made in 1736. Besides depicting religion, they also depict life-size portraits of people who was important in the time and era of the New Spain. For instance, here on the left side, we have the Viceroy of Martínez del Garres, who was a supporter of the School in Fine Arts, where he taught a lot of people how to paint. And then on here on the right-hand side, we have the famous poet, Sister Juanita. She spent her life mostly as a nun, but was very famous for her poetry. Life still portraits of family members, even having mixed children with native born, started to become more natural in the form of art. As you see here in the two imageries of the collection called Castle, with oil paint on cloth. The picture on the left is a gentleman helping his wife with her hair, and the second picture is a mother with her two children about to eat. To conclude my presentation of history of art in Mexico, it went from the most powerful empire to the early stages of Mexico. People died, land was conquered, and most importantly, the sculptures and artwork changed dramatically with the techniques and styles through the course of history.